Presented by Trinity Health, the official sports performance provider of GVSU Athletics. Corn in that opener against Minnesota State. You guys took it to them, 76-55 against a really good Minnesota State team. That's a team, we talked about it last week, won the national championship a couple seasons ago. And you're doing good work defensively when the other team goes 0 from 3 in the first half, and you jump out to a 40-22 halftime lead. Just discuss that game and that victory from your eyes.
Well, again, I just really think our guys was geared up to play. I think Minnesota State had made some comments before. Obviously, I wasn't out there, but before the game, and I think that really helped our guys get going. And so, at the end of the day, we played with great energy. The guys playing really, really hard. They are playing together. They unified and have shown resiliency throughout their time here, and then the new guys coming as well. But guys just playing hard, they playing together, and I couldn't be more happy for the guys and for our program.
Yeah, Minnesota State in that loss for them, 4 of 28 from 3, 15 of 59 from the floor. Individually speaking, in that victory, Trevor Smith has been off to a wonderful start offensively. Led the offense in that victory over Minnesota State with 18 points, 8 of 11 shooting, knocked down his 2 3-point attempts. Ethan Aldrink starting to pick things up offensively. Really starting to see him get his legs back underneath him after missing most of last season due to an unfortunate knee injury. Again, 14 points for him. And Jalen Charity, who is our special guest here on the men's side, coming up in the next segment, had a baker's dozen with 4 rebounds to boot. But in regards to Trevor Smith and Mason Docks, those two senior leaders at guard, we've talked about them a couple of times this season, but their offense has really sparkled early on.
Oh, no doubt about it. I mean, since I've been here, I think we all, and the players and coaches included, have been trying to get Trevor to be more aggressive. And so it's good to see him be more aggressive. And as far as it goes with the way we play, I think, as long as you're not being selfish, we want all the guys to be aggressive. We want them all to be aggressive in their space. As long as you're playing to your strength, then if you got the ball, then play to your strength. If that means a drive, a strong drive for like Jalen, drive it. If it's a ball screen action for the 2 guards, then play around the ball screen and take off. I thought our big guys did a decent job of having some balance to it in terms of feeding the post and getting some money off the post, which really helps the perimeter guys. But we scored a lot off our defense.
Then in the next game, the next night, you took on the host school, the Cougars of Sioux Falls, and not a very big team compared to playing a Minnesota State, but they were very scrappy. You guys pulled it off in the end, 77-73. You were up by 10 at the half, had to hold on for dear life in the second half. They eventually grabbed a lead later on in the second half, but like I said, you guys held on, and we were talking before we came on the air here, Corn, a scrappy team. From your standpoint, I know you guys probably didn't play your best game, but in the early portions of the season when you're not playing your A game, you just got to find a way to win a basketball game.
Oh, no doubt about it. And some people say, well, man, that's an ugly win. I don't know what an ugly win look like. Mm-hmm. All I know is when I look in the column is a W in the column. And so it'll be games. It'll be games with other team. They trying to win too. They got a plan too. And those guys played really, really hard. And what it looked like their plan was to shoot as many threes as they can and chase down the rebound if they couldn't make it.
Yep.
And they did a big job of that. I thought our guys was good. Could we play better? Of course we could play better. But in the situation we were in with losing Marcus and then going back-to-back days and those type of things, I thought it was a very resilient situation for us to be in, and I thought we did a good job of fighting through it. And it showed the experience toward the end of the game. It showed the experience in terms of closing out a tough game.
Yeah, the rebounding margin, -16. You don't like to see that, but again, you guys find a way to win. But from a perimeter shooting standpoint for Sioux Falls, they were 5 of 28. So if my math is correct, Corn, 3-point defense was outstanding in the 2 games. 9 of 42, the opposition went from 3. It seems like your 3-point defense is really locking things down early in the season here.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we do. If you take a look at last year's games, I think we tried to do a good job of that then. And again, I give credit to the guys because you have to be locked all the way in order to take away the drive, get out on the shot, take away that drive, help on the drive, get way on to the other side, to the weak side because the ball was skipped. And over and over and over, those guys talk and move and sprint around and take up for each other. It's like a schoolyard fight. I'm going to take up for my brother. And I think they've done a wonderful job of that.
Ethan Aldrink led the way with 18 points, 8 rebounds on 7 of 9 shooting. He was 3 of 4 from 3. He had some big shots late in the basketball game. He really got the offense started for the weekend on Friday, and then late in the game on Saturday really hit some big shots to, I guess, keep that advantage in your favor just a little bit further than the other team wanted to get it to. Like I said, Sioux Falls at late junction in the second half grabbed a lead, but you guys did a good job of punching back. Jalen Charity, he was 5 of 11 from the floor, perfect 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 16 points, and Mason Docks, 13 points on 6 of 10 shooting. Mason Docks was the GLIAC Defensive Player of the Week, so congratulations to him. But now you're through the first couple of weekends, 4 impressive road victories. You can call them neutral site victories, but in your book, they probably go down as road victories. The toughness of your team has really got to stick out here early on.
Well, we do have fight in us. We have fight in us. I think we got great character in terms of being able to take the floor from the sideline in terms of the scouting report, take from the sideline to the floor. I think those guys are way more than bought in. They have a lot to do with what's going on. And when we talk about what we're going to run, when we're in the huddles, we talk to those guys about how they feel about some of the things that we're doing. And so they have plenty of input. We'll run an audible. If it's times that Mason and Trevor, even Jalen will come to and say, Coach, what about this? And if it sounds good, and I'll turn to the guy and like, how y'all feel about that? Okay, let's do it. And so it's a joint effort on just about everything. And I think that's the way we want it. I think they feel very confident about, especially end of the game situation. I think they feel very confident about it when they have input. And we've had success early, and again, it's early, but we got a long way to go. Well, I mean, we got a long way to go, and the thing is we talked about it today, just getting better each day, not breaking off the rear view mirrors and not worrying about what happened already and really getting into what's in front of us.
Our special guest, Jalen Charity, is coming up here in just a couple of moments. Corn, before I let you take a breather here, I always ask you any special guest.
Is that on YouTube?
It is on YouTube. Welcome in our viewers on YouTube there. That's okay, Corn. We're going to roll with the punches. That's right. That's a turnover. But with the special guests we have coming on, the players, Jalen Charity being our special guest on the men's side here this week, Corn, I always ask you the impact he's made on the program, but also off the court as well. Where have you seen the biggest growth from him?
Well, one of the things Jalen is Jalen is a tough guy. He's really tough. He's when you get into a game and it's tough situations, he's ready to do whatever to win that game. And I think a lot of guys really feed off that. I've even told him before that, if he go out and somehow it don't look right, or if he somehow didn't do something or bag out, or his body language, which is not very often, but he's down, if that happens, then he going to scare the stew out of some other guys, because a lot of guys look to him for not motivation, but to see where we at. Like where we at with Jalen. We looking at Jalen to see where we at on the wood. And off the floor, he does a good job of just coming in and talking about things, what he may see, what somebody, he have a good temperature in terms of what the team feel like. But right now, after when I got here, that's when Jalen started. And so he knows exactly what I'm looking for. And he knows how I am and that. So it's easy for him to be a go-between the team. It's easy.
Well, Cornell, let you take a breather here and collect yourself, and we'll bring on our special guest, Jalen.
Why are you laughing at me, dude? All right, thank you.
Live radio and TV, gotta love it. Jalen Charity will join us after this timeout as we're tuning in live to the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider inside the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Brian Fongers back live inside the GVSU basketball offices, continuing along with the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. Continuing along with our men's conversation, perfect 4-0 start to the season after a successful weekend in Sioux Falls, taking a flight out there to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, and coming home with a couple of victories over a pair of Northern Sun schools in Minnesota State and Sioux Falls. Our special guest now joins us. It's time for Grind Time with Big B Coffee. It's time to be. He's a Northview product. Grand Rapids, Michigan native, senior Jalen Charity joins us once again this year. Jalen, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, senior year, it's probably gone by in the blink of an eye for you. Off to a good start this year in your senior campaign. Have you had a chance to just kind of look back and reflect on your time at Grand Valley State and just think to yourself, man, where's the time gone?
Definitely. These past 4 years have been fun, but it's been really fast. And I've had a lot of fun doing it. I have had a little bit of time to look back, just seeing myself through the 4 years. And I think I've grown a lot, and I'm really excited to see where I go in the future.
In the preseason, this team was picked by the coaches to finish fourth in the GLIAC, but the past couple of years, you guys have had, I guess you could say, opportunities to get over that hump. I've talked to a couple other players, Ethan Aldrink, Mason Docks, talking about getting over that hump. In your mind, senior year, I know it's an important year for you, but from a team standpoint, what's it going to take to get over that hump and compete for a GLIAC regular season championship?
Compared to other years, I think just getting over that hump is just us being together. I think past years, we've been off and on throughout the season. I think the whole season it takes, just our start here. To start the season has been good, but I think that we have to continue it through the whole entire season.
Well, offensively for you, you're off to a good start, being one of those senior leaders on the floor, contributing offensively. Where have you seen the biggest growth out of your game?
Really just patience. I'm starting to look at the court just a little differently, seeing different angles and different ways to help my team out.
Talking to Jalen Charity here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. You've been on with us the past couple of years now, and this team, I guess I'm going to put you on the spot. Is this the best team that you've had during your time at Grand Valley State?
I would agree. Yeah, okay. I think we are defensively, we play aggressive. We play together. I think really everyone is really bought in on defense. No one really takes plays off. We're really just everyone is eager to play and everyone really wants to win.
And you're a part of a good senior core. Trevor Smith, Mason Docks, yourself, Ethan Aldrink, just to name a few players. I don't know if I'm forgetting anybody. You can correct me if I forgot somebody. But what makes this senior class stick out in your mind?
We've been playing together I've been playing with Trev and Ethan for about 4 years now, and then there's some of the seniors, Charles and Shamus, been playing with them for 3 years, and Mace for 3 years. I think really everyone's tired of not winning. Yeah. The past 3 years we've gotten really close my sophomore year in the championship against Ferris. But I think we're ready to, take that next step and just start winning.
It's got to help, too, when your first 4 games are on the road, taking those long road trips and coming away unscathed, unbeaten. What kind of confidence can it provide to this team?
I think a lot. There were we played in some tough environments, including UND and up in South Dakota. Last year, I think we did well on the road, didn't do too well at home, but I think it installs a lot of confidence because the guys understand, going into an environment like that, we can definitely win games.
And growing up, you got some strong ties to Grand Valley State with your parents. We've talked about that over the coming years, but for those people who don't know much about you, that was probably a strong selling point to you coming to Grand Valley State.
Yeah, definitely. Out of high school, I didn't have really many offers. There were small offers. Grand Valley blessed me with the opportunity. Not too big of an opportunity. Corn, I didn't have him as a coach. Coach Wesley was here. He offered me that. But my dad played here football. My mom went here. Definitely influenced me a little bit. It's definitely a little closer to home. Wasn't too mad about going, closer or farther away. But definitely excited to be here.
Well, as we get in now through the Thanksgiving holiday and you get into the meat and potatoes of your non-conference schedule, I believe the next 5 games for you guys are at home. You don't have a real true road trip till the new year when you go up to the UP in those tough 2 environments here. But do you get a sense of, hey, this is a major opportunity to get on a nice little run going into the new year and going up to the UP, taking on Michigan Tech and Northern Michigan?
Oh, definitely. These non-conference games are really important, definitely important for end of the season seeding. 5 home games is different than your normal, but I think we can definitely come out with a lot of wins here, hopefully all of them.
Is there a specific individual moment that sticks out in your mind to this point in your Grand Valley career?
Honestly, I kind of mentioned it earlier, just losing to Ferris my sophomore year in the GLIAC championship. We were that close, really just that close, and that kind of just sticks with me, just how close we can get. And with this team, I think we're there.
Jalen, before I let you go again, appreciate your time, your relationship with Cornell Mann, now in his 4th season. How has that developed?
I love him. Like I said earlier, he didn't recruit me, but kind of just took me in as another recruit, really, and developed me. I've worked on so many things since I was a freshman, and off the court too. He's definitely helped me make a better person, even as a man. And
that transition too, you mentioned it. You were recruited by Rick Wesley. The transition happens, and for some players it could be a rocky transition, but in your eyes, was it a pretty smooth transition?
It was, definitely, yeah. He, I asked him, am I going to redshirt, am I playing? He really just said, it's up to you, and I kind of just proved myself in the court.
One final thing from me for you, Jalen. The rest of the way here, winning a GLIAC, it's a physical conference. It's going to be, you're going to take your lumps. There's going to be moments in games where you feel like, definitely could have played a lot better, that kind of thing. But in terms of winning the GLIAC, preseason rankings are what they are. What's that missing ingredient to get over the top?
I think, like I said earlier, just playing together, really. I think in the past we haven't really played together. Like you said, I think we're going to go through ups and downs this season. That's fine. That's supposed to happen. But, these teams, they're all really good teams in this conference. I'm just really excited to, show what we can do.
Jalen, we appreciate it. Best of luck the rest of the way, your senior year here, and here's hoping for good things to come.
Thank you.
That's Jalen Charity joining us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. As we take another break, head coach Cornell Mann will rejoin us. We got a couple of home games coming up for the men. Wednesday against Lewis, Sunday against Grace Christian. We'll chat about those games briefly after this timeout as you're tuning in live inside the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider is presented in part by Flow Sports, where you can watch the Lakers all season long. Brian Fongers back live inside the GVSU basketball offices as we wrap up our men's conversation. Head coach Cornell Mann rejoins us. My thanks to Jalen Charity for joining us in the previous segment. And Corn, let's get right to it. Got a couple of home games. I believe this starts a string of 5 straight at home. You don't take a major road trip per se till the new year when you go up to the UP. So that's got to be nice from a travel standpoint. And it begins this week, Wednesday afternoon, a pre-Thanksgiving affair against the Flyers of Lewis out of the GLVC. That's a 3 o'clock tip, 2:45 with the pregame coverage right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Then on Sunday, it's a 1 o'clock tip at the GVSU Fieldhouse Arena, taking on the Tigers of Grace Christian. 12:45 with the pregame coverage. That kicks off a nice little non-conference doubleheader. Men first, women second on Sunday. So again, 1 o'clock with the men, 12:45 with the pregame coverage here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. And just touching on Lewis real quick, Corn, it's a team, hasn't won a game yet, been through some transition, lost a lot from last year's team. Brand new head coach. They promoted from within after their longtime head coach retired right before the season started. But records don't mean anything, I know, in your mind. You just got to get up that day and get ready to play, right?
No doubt. And they've had a nice little while to prepare. And so I would imagine that they'll come in looking very different than they did in their last contest. You just never know. When you give a team at this time of year, you give them a week, 7 days, 8 days, then they could come in and they could have scrapped their entire offense and have a brand new offense, or all of a sudden they got, they were not pressing. Now they're pressing, and so you just never know what you're gonna run into. But one thing they do is they do play hard. They play hard, and they got a couple guys who can really stroke it from three. And what we try to do is we try to make sure that obviously we're gonna do our homework on our opposing teams, but we really try and continue to get our team better. We really try and lock into what we need to do and what we need to get better at, because, okay, we're 4-0, but, let's say, for instance, we would have lost that last game and we got out-rebounded really, really bad. Well, you'd have had steam coming off the ball head downstairs in the arena. But with that being said, we still have to give that attention, and even though we didn't lose, we still got to give it attention and really get into why that happened and get that rectified. You hide a lot of things when you win, and I want to make sure that we don't trick ourselves into thinking that we've done everything correct in order to get these wins. The one thing we've done correct is play together and play really hard.
Yeah, that's the home opener on Wednesday, 3 o'clock tip, 2:45 with the pregame coverage here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Then you follow it up on Sunday to wrap up the Thanksgiving weekend against Grace Christian. That's a team that's played, obviously, more games than you guys have had. They're 5-4, but that counts as an exhibition game for them, so it doesn't matter record-wise. But for you guys, it's just another opportunity to play a game, get out there, get your legs back underneath you after the Thanksgiving holiday. How did this opportunity, I guess, come about with Grace Christian?
Well, when I took the job, the Grand Valley had played Grace Christian every year, and we did not, and we told Coach that we would get back to it, and so we are back to it. It's interesting. You go through these games, Mr. Brian Fongers, you go through these games, and my wife would tell you, I really don't know who we play except for that next game. Mm-hmm. So, Grace, we appreciate them coming over and playing us, but we really lock into what's next. And the only thing I really know about, I don't know anything about Grace.
Yeah.
But I do know enough about, and I'm watching film now, I do know enough about Lewis. And I'll finish watching film on them, and I try not to get ahead of myself.
Yeah, last year's game at Lewis Neal Carey Arena in Romeoville.
Great game.
You guys shot the lights out, I believe, 15 three-pointers in that victory, so that was outstanding, and that completes a home-and-home with Lewis. And Corn, before I let you go here, got to correct myself from a stat standpoint. Three-pointers given up the percentage over the weekend. You guys actually gave up 9 three-pointers made on 52 attempts, not 42. That's outstanding. I wanted to talk more about the defense because you guys get after people. You try and create turnovers, maximize the number of possessions per game. What's been the key contributor to the defensive success so far this season?
Just practice. Our pace of practice is really good. It's ridiculous at some points, but I think we practice hard. We don't walk around in practice. We go from drill to drill. We got a system where the guys can get water from the managers. Every now and then I'll give 30 seconds on the clock and they can grab water. But at the end of the day, our pace of practice and the intensity in terms of competition and being competitive in practice, losing teams run on anything, and sometimes the stakes are high, a 16 or 17 on the sideline or suicides, and those are high stakes for those guys. And so I just think it's always you're always a winner or a loser. And so it's a fight in practice to obviously be the winner. And even when you run in sprints, guys is trying to win in every way. And so I think it's just very competitive atmosphere and environment.
Looking to keep the unbeaten start to the season going. Lewis on Wednesday at 3 o'clock, 2:45 of the pregame coverage. Grace Christian on Sunday, 1 o'clock, the tip, 12:45 of the pregame coverage. Both games at home and here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. He is head men's coach Cornell Mann. Corn, thanks for joining us. We'll talk to you again on Wednesday.
Thanks for having me. Anchor up and eat a lot of turkey.
That's right. That wraps up our men's conversation. We'll take a break. When we come back, we're talking all things GVSU women's basketball. They didn't play last week, so kind of a bye week to kind of reset some things. And they've got a couple of games coming up this week. Tomorrow at Findlay, at home on Sunday against Northwood, a couple of GMAC teams. Head women's coach Mike Williams will take the seat after this timeout as we kick off our women's conversation after this on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider is presented in part by Earhart Construction, right from the start. Brian Fongers back live inside the GVSU basketball offices. Happy early Thanksgiving to everybody out there, whether you're tuning in on the Grand Valley Sports Network on the radio side or checking us out live on YouTube as we wrapped up our men's conversation with head coach Cornell Mann and special guest Jalen Charity. Now we focus our attention to still the number one team in the country. They didn't play last week, but they're still 4-0, still unbeaten, still number one in the country. And head women's coach Mike Williams joins us. Coach, thanks for joining us once again tonight. Like I said, nice little bye week to kind of hit the reset button.
Yeah, you know, if that's good or bad. You know, sometimes a break is good to heal up, to practice, to get some, to work on some things and kind of fine tune, but also, not playing that lull, that break sometimes can hurt you as well. I know the first, we played opening weekend, first of November, and we played 2 games down in Missouri, and then we came back. We had 2 weeks off before we played down in Ohio, and I think it was we were a little bit rusty. And so we try to make things more realistic this week, do more up and down, more 5-on-5. So hopefully it'll get us ready for tomorrow. We go down and play at Findlay.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how do you find that balance? You're not playing consistently to start off the season, practicing, keeping players fresh. How do you find that balance?
Well, it's kind of a crapshoot. You're just kind of like, what is the best? You got to take days off. Sometimes you work around schedules. You just, I don't know, sometimes it's injuries. Sometimes you got people that are beat up or, we had some lower body injuries for a while, so we try to scale back a little bit on that. But, you kind of stay in that rhythm of playing. We try to get five practices or games, 5 things a week. And so we try to stay with that. But it worked out this week because of recruiting, I think we took Friday off. Then we practiced Saturday morning. Then we took Sunday off. And you come today and you play tomorrow. So that was kind of an odd deal. But, I think it's your players just got to – there's no ideals, I don't think, in this thing. You just got to play through it.
Is it a situation, take last week, for example, when you don't have a game, do you focus more on the fundamentals or do you focus more on, hey, let's get them scrimmaging against one another, game type, getting your legs underneath you, game type action kind of thing?
I think a little of both. We try to make one day early in the week kind of an up and down, 5-on-5, a lot more live action to simulate like we're playing a game. And the rest of that was practice, prep, and prepare, and work on some skill things and some different things. But yeah, and it's hard to simulate a game. But I think we did a good job with that. Is it too long? Sometimes the players aren't. It's tough to mentally get up for practice, after you did for 2 weeks, play 2 games in another 10 days. But I think we did a good job this week. I think we kind of focused in, and I think we got a lot accomplished.
And I know you guys from a coaching staff standpoint have had extra time to look at the film through the first 4 games. I know you guys aren't shooting the 3-ball particularly well to start off the season. Any concern there, or are the ladies getting great looks and they're just not dropping right now?
Well, you get a chance to ask Avery that when she gets up, and one of our shooters. But I think they're good looks. There's a couple of times we're taking some maybe off balance, maybe some hurried ones, but I think they're pretty good looks. And we've had that happen in the past. And it's a short sample size, only playing 4 games. In one game we didn't ring the bell. We shot poorly, but that's going to happen. You don't want your players to get gun shy and not take those open looks. And it's a combination, too. We've had some success with our post players scoring around that rim. And so sometimes we're probably trying to jam it in there too much. And then we were kind of, a little bit hesitant on our threes because put it inside? Do we take the 3? So hopefully this week we'll work on that mix where we're taking open shots, but if that's open in the post, we dump it in there.
Talking to Ed Women's coach Mike Williams here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. We'll get more into the Findlay game in the last segment of the show, but I know you guys want to make amends for the last time you went to Niekamp Arena there. I know the 3-point shot, that was a knockdown, drag-em-out rock fight in the previous matchup down there at Croy Gymnasium, so I'm sure you guys would like to have a nice bounce back shooting the ball at that venue.
Yeah, it's always tough down there. I don't know why, but it's always tough on the road. Anytime you go on the road, and like I said, we played all road games, and so that sometimes affects your shooting a little bit, playing in different venues. You want to get anywhere you play. You want to make shots, but again, I think it's more or less we've kind of told our players, just take the right shot. They're going to fall. We've got good shooters. I think sometimes they play into too much of, I'm not making shots, and we, forget that. Forget what happened in the past. This is a new day. Hunt your next shot. Attack the basket. Keep your eyes up and just play basketball, and don't get caught up in those other things because they can monkey with you. And so, I think it's one of those things where, you let your defense help your offense, and we had a great week of practice, so hopefully that rim bucket will open up for us.
Avery Zeenstra, she's our special guest here tonight. I believe this is the first time she's been on the show since I started doing it. So I want you to say nice things about Avery Zeenstra, her impact on the program. Where have you seen the biggest growth out of her?
Yeah, she never get on the show because she always got night class, and she's such a good student that she's she's just always studying and in class. So no, that is true, but that's not the case. She's got a unique situation. She came in as a class of 1, and that's really a tough thing from the start to do that. But it happened. We recruited 7 players the previous year. COVID hit. We had players we knew we had to redshirt. We planned on redshirt, and so it was a smaller class for us. But, she's going to be a senior year. She's going to graduate in 4 years. But what a tremendous person and player. And just the things that she's done for our program. Obviously came in as a shooter and became a lot more. You watch her assist to turnover ratio and efficiency on offense, passing the basketball, taking it to rim. Sometimes, she's her biggest enemy and critic. We got to keep her chin up because she's such a good player. And we tell her defensively, I think this year she's been gambling more, trying to make more plays out of our pressing action. And so that's been really good because she's an extremely good athlete. So, and been a great leader this year as a senior. Done a great job. So she's going to have a great year. We can see that already.
Native of Byron Center, Michigan, senior Avery Zeenstra will join us after this timeout. Coach Mike will let you take a breather, and we'll be back with our special guest, Avery Zeenstra, after this break here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Our women's basketball guest is presented by University of Michigan Health West, the official sports medicine provider of GVSU Athletics. Brian Fongers back live inside the GVSU basketball offices, rolling along with a new installment of the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. And our special guest on the women's side joins us. She's a senior from Byron Center, Michigan. She is Avery Zeenstra, proud product of Byron Center High School as well. Avery, thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Well, where do I start? Because like I said, this is the first time you've been on the show since I've taken over. So let's just talk about what got you interested in playing the game of basketball growing up.
Oh, both my parents played basketball, so they just kind of got me and my sisters into it at a young age. And yeah, just fell in love with it. I love playing. I've played since I was probably 6 years old, so.
Coach Mike mentioned before we went to break, the only member of your recruiting class. That's a unique scenario. Did you know about that when you initially came to Grand Valley State, that you were the only person in your recruiting class?
No, that was kind of a surprise for me. I remember Coach Sayers coming to me and being like, yep, your class is really small. Like, we just want to let you know that we're going to be deciding pretty soon. And that was kind of when I was like, yep, I want to, commit here. So ended up working out fine. I'm in a class now with a couple girls that are a year older than me, but they've been really great in bringing me in.
I was going to ask you, too, what made you want to commit to Grand Valley State and play for Coach Mike?
Yeah, they had what I wanted to study, which is really great biomedical science program, as we were talking about. So that really interests me, and, they like to win, and I really like to win as well, so I wanted to be a part of that culture in that program.
As I mentioned, you went to Byron Center to play high school ball. That's an outstanding athletics program. It's a school that continues to grow its enrollment with each passing year. During your high school career, is there one moment that sticks out in your mind while you played there?
Yeah, I got a chance to play with my younger sister, Lily, for 2 years there, and so that was just really great. We bickered a little bit at the beginning, but once we got into it, I really enjoyed playing with her, so that was great.
Talking to Avery Zienstra here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, and you came in known for your three-point shooting, and I always say on the broadcast, and I mean it when I say it, you got out of the gym range. You can hit a three-point shot anywhere in the gym. Anytime that ball goes up, from my vantage point, it looks like it's going in. But Coach Mike also said defensively, you've gotten a lot better over your time here at Grand Valley State. Is that where you've seen the biggest growth in your game during your time here?
Yeah, we work on defense a lot, and so coming in, that was definitely something that I was nervous about. Everyone's a little bit bigger, a little bit faster, so we spend, an hour and a half every day working on that. So for Coach to compliment my growth on that means a lot because, I've put a lot of time in.
You got any funny Coach Mike stories or a moment that sticks out? I always like asking the players because there's always great moments because Coach Mike is so beloved within this community, and I know he doesn't want to hear it, but
he's walking away.
Yeah, he is. But is there an interesting story that's stuck out in your mind?
I just got this flashback on my social media the other day, and I was a freshman. I'm sitting in the back of the bus, and we had just won on a road game, and Coach Mike just comes on back, and he's like, does anyone have any chocolate? I need chocolate. So he does that quite a bit, and usually we do have some hiding back there, so that's always pretty funny.
Like I said, he's so beloved within the community and the school itself, and just he's great to have around, and he's also he's got a softer side to him. We all know that. But you mentioned your major, biomedical science. It's just an incredible discipline to go into, and you also mentioned too that you're minoring in business as well. That's outstanding.
Thank you.
So what made you want to get into those two disciplines?
I came in kind of undecided, and then my younger sister, Taylor, she actually went through cancer. She had cancer when she was 11, and just seeing how the healthcare workers interacted with her and really helped her and my family through that journey, I was like, yep, I definitely want to go into healthcare. I ended up finding dentistry, and so I'm in the process of applying to dental schools right now.
Well, that's incredible. Again, chatting with Avery Zienstra here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. I got to ask about the phenomenal run to the national championship. What a fun journey it was for you guys. Second national championship in program history. What was the best moment for you outside of the national championship winning game? Was there a game that really stuck out in the journey to winning it all?
Yeah, looking back at it, when we played Ashland at home, I can't remember if it was the regional final, but that's just when I felt the click in our team. We just really, all had the same goal, and that's when I feel like we all came together and decided, okay, this is our year. We're going to do this. So from that point on, it just felt like we were playing for each other. We were doing everything that we needed to do to get to where we were, and we ended up winning it all, which was pretty amazing. Growing
up, who was the biggest mentor for you in the game of basketball?
Definitely my mom. She played a little bit in college herself at Calvin, and she was always there for me, always, pushing me to get out in the driveway even when I didn't want to. So, I really appreciate her being there for me and is there for me today still. So. Yeah.
This team, a good mix of experience and youth. You got an outstanding recruiting class that came in, but now you're one of those senior leaders. As a vocal leader, have you seen yourself grow as more of a vocal leader this year?
Yeah, for sure. I think that because we have so many young kids coming in, like, it's just good for them to hear things from you, positive things, just, hey, like, you should be doing this, like, hey, did you hear that, like, that sort of thing. I'm not a super loud player, but I definitely have been trying to be more vocal.
You kind of let your play do the talking kind of thing, right?
Yes.
Avery, before I let you go again, appreciate your time here tonight. Obviously, complacency can set in on a team. When you win it all, it's a long grind of a season, year in and year out, because it's so long. You start at preseason camp probably back to maybe even September, October, that kind of thing, and you go all the way to the end of March. What's been the one message that maybe you as the senior class, part of that senior class, has delivered to the rest of the teams, kind of saying, hey, you can't have this kind of complacency. You got to avoid that. Has there been kind of an identity that's been installed in this year's team?
Yeah, I think that we do have a really strong senior class, and it's so fun to have played with those girls for now 4 years. So just showing the younger classes, like, when we're at practice, we're putting in the work. When we get to games, it should be easier than practice. Like, we have to go hard. And I think that we're still working to getting up to that, but just bringing the energy every day, like you said, staying vocal and just teaching, through showing them how we play and how we play hard. We just have to continue to do that.
Well, Avery, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. Best of luck the rest of the season. And, hey, we'll see you tomorrow in Findlay against the Oilers.
Yeah, sounds good.
That's Avery Zeenstra joining us here on the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider. We'll take one final break. When we come back, Coach Mike will join us. They got a couple of games coming up. On the road tomorrow at Findlay. Sunday, they host Northwood for their home opener. We'll talk about those games after this as you're tuning in live inside the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider is presented in part by GVSU Tickets, where you secure your seat to all the upcoming games. Brian Fongers back live. One final segment here on another Monday evening. This is the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, live inside the GVSU basketball offices. Head women's coach Mike Williams rejoins us as we preview what's to come for the Laker women, number one in the country. My thanks to Avery Zeenstra for joining us in the previous segment. Senior out of Byron Center. And Coach Mike, glad to be talking about some game action coming up here, and we're not going to miss any more games on the radio side. We're going to be with you guys the rest of the season. It begins tomorrow with a 4 o'clock tip in Findlay, Ohio, taking on the Findlay Oilers out of the GMAC. We'll have the pregame coverage for you at 3:45. right here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Then on Sunday, another GMAC team. It's the home opener for the Laker women. 3 o'clock tip, roughly 2:45 with the pregame coverage after the conclusion of the men's game. You can listen to it live here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Coach Mike, a couple of GMAC teams that are much improved. They're knocking on that tournament door, trying to get in. I know they were close last year, but I mentioned in the first segment, going down to Findlay a couple of years ago, that was a low-scoring, rugged game. I know you guys played Findlay in that weekend opening get-together out in Billings, Montana, and roughed them up a little bit. But this is a Findlay team, like I said, can't take them lightly.
No, they're good. They can score the basketball. I think they lost Kate Ellis, was a really, really good player. Maybe a little bit, maybe one-dimensional sometimes last year with her because she was so good. This year they're not. They're playing 8 to 10 players. They come down. They can shoot the three. I think she shot 56% last game at home on Saturday. They've got a great post player. They press a little bit on and off. They run some zone. They run some man. They push the ball. They run kind of a little funky offense, kind of keep you off balance. But they're a good team, and they're good at home. They played 2 on the road, won them both. They split at home last weekend. Played a really good Seton Hill team and got beaten. And I think that was kind of a wake up call for them. But they did really took care of business on Saturday. And that's going to be a challenging game.
Yeah, and they've already faced a couple of GLIAC teams in Saginaw Valley State and Lake State. Those were closer games, but their record is what they are. They're a very good team, off to a good start. Again, that's a 4 o'clock tip. And then on Sunday, another promising team out of the GMAC. Findlay and Northwood predicted to finish in the top 4 in the GMAC this year, according to the preseason coaches poll. Northwood, you guys went there the game before the Christmas holiday break hit over on the east side of the state, and that was a tussle as well against the Timberwolves.
Yeah, Northwood's, they're good. They're really good. They can really score. They mix it up defensively. I know Ferris went in there, who I think is one of the top teams in our conference for sure. Won in overtime, at Northwood. So, and then again, it's challenging to play on the road. It's really tough, especially in our conference, and when you play these in-region games. So, it's the next 2 tests are going to be really, really steep tests for our team, and they'll be good tests, and give us an indication where we're at.
Again, 4 o'clock tomorrow, 3:45 with the pregame coverage on the Grand Valley Sports Network. 3 o'clock on Sunday after the men's game, roughly 2:45 with the pregame coverage, again on the Grand Valley Sports Network. Your home opener after 5 games on the road. I know these non-conference schedules year in and year out, Coach Mike, a lot of road games, but this year you get the benefit of a few extra home games, especially before the new year.
Yeah, we've got Northwood returning, and then we got Quincy, coming in here. We got first 2 conference games at home, which is kind of nice. But I'm not sure how we'll do. We haven't played at home, so
right.
We did have some scrimmages, which I thought was good. We played 3 scrimmage games at home, and so you get used to it, and you practice every day, so you're well acclimated to your home gym. But it's nice to be. You look at records of teams when they play on the road, when they play at home. There's a team in the country plays better on the road than at home.
Yeah, these are the final 2 non-conference games before you get a cup of coffee and GLIAC play to kick off December against Lake State and Saginaw Valley State. Coach Mike, before I let you go, again, as always, we appreciate your time. I know you've been through this once already this year, but are you concerned about the rest versus rust factor, not having a game in over a week?
Yeah, I think that's, again, you can say, wow, this team had time to prepare. You can say, we're playing games. You want to keep playing games. I would rather play games than have a break. I'm not sure our players. I think players are the same way. They like to play games that are practice all the time. But it is what it is, and like I said, it's either way. It's going to be a good test for us.
Coach Mike, as always, we appreciate the time. Safe travels, and we'll see you down in Findlay, Ohio tomorrow afternoon for that little matinee contest.
All right. Thanks much.
That is head women's coach Mike Williams joining us again to recap a busy week ahead for both the men and women. The women tomorrow, 4 o'clock tip, 3:45 the pregame coverage, taking on the Oilers on the Grand Valley Sports Network. The men followed up pre-Thanksgiving at 3 o'clock here in Allendale against the Lewis Flyers, 2:45 of the pregame coverage. And then on Sunday, we have a non-conference doubleheader, our first doubleheader of the season. The difference is the men play 1st. The men will tip it off at 1 o'clock against Grace Christian. The women at 3 o'clock against the Northwood Timberwolves. Again, everything can be caught live here on the radio side on the Grand Valley Sports Network, on Flow Sports. You name it, we've got it all covered this coming week as we've got a full slate wrapped around the Thanksgiving holiday. That's going to wrap things up on a Monday evening. For all the guests involved, Jalen Charity and Avery Zienstra on the players side, Cornell Mann and Mike Williams on the head coaching side. I'm Brian Fongers saying thanks for tuning in. You've been tuning in live to the GVSU Basketball Weekly Insider, live from the GVSU basketball offices here on the Grand Valley Sports Network. We thank you for tuning in. Enjoy the rest of your Monday evening. We're back at you tomorrow. Relatively quick turnaround in Findlay, Ohio against the Oilers at 3:45. Anchor up, and as always, go Lakers.